Okay, so we have 14 M. Night Shyamalan movies here that we're going to be ranking. There are a few that aren't on this list that I won't be ranking that are just ones that M. Night Shyamalan isn't very well known for. They were some of his earlier movies, and I honestly haven't even seen them, so I'm not going to include those. But we have pretty much all of his main movies here, and especially the ones where these are the movies that M. Night Shyamalan is known for, whether they're good or bad.
What? No.
Now, there's a lot of really, really good movies in M. Night Shyamalan's in his filmography. A lot of movies that I really, really enjoy. Some of my favorite movies of all time, and one of these actually is my favorite movie of all time. And if you've seen some of my earlier videos, you already know what it is. But if you haven't, stick around to the end and you'll see which one is actually my favorite movie of all time. But I'm going to be spoiling a lot of these when I'm talking about them, so just keep that in mind. But there's, like I said, some really good movies and some really bad movies, and we're going to talk about all of them. So we have a bunch of different tiers here. So we have the best tier, which is going to be for some of the best movies, like my favorite movies, and these are going to be the movies that are almost masterpieces. And then we have great, which is really, really good, but just not quite there. And then we have good, which is just, it was good. It was okay, but nothing crazy, but also just an enjoyable movie still. And then we have the bad but fun category, which is for basically anything that is obviously just a really bad movie, but there's still things you can have fun with and laugh at through the movie. There's definitely one movie I have in mind for this category already. And then the last one is bad. It's just an absolutely terrible film, and there's nothing redeemable about it. Okay, so I'm not going to do any of these in any particular order, just kind of the order that they're already lined up here. So the first one that we're going to talk about is The Happening. So The Happening, I watched a very long time ago when I was very young. It wasn't the first M. Night Shyamalan movie that I watched, but it was one of my earlier kind of, if you can consider it a horror movie, one of my earlier kind of horror movies. I remember as a kid thinking that this one was actually like scary and like the people like whenever they're finding the different ways to kill themselves, like as goofy as they are now, looking back, like to me as a kid, they were terrifying. And I remember thinking this was a great movie. But going back and watching it actually as an adult, you see how absolutely hilarious this movie is and how goofy it is, and the script is bad. And but I'm gonna be honest, it's honestly so bad that it's funny sometimes. I always remember watching, there was an honest trailer for this movie, and I remember it being so hilarious. Um, but for a movie called The Happening, the fun joke is nothing really happens in The Happening. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put this in the bad but fun category because at least there's things to laugh about and make fun of with this movie. Um, but yeah, it's bad. It's a really bad movie. Badly written, poorly acted. I don't know what M. Night Shyamalan was thinking with this movie, but this is definitely one of his worst movies. Okay, so the next movie that we're ranking is Lady in the Water. So, Lady in the Water, I didn't actually watch until actually pretty recently with my wife for the first time. And um, I going into this, I was excited because it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie that I haven't seen, and like I said, I love him as a director, but this movie was not good at all. The script was not very well written. The general story of it just wasn't very good either. Just basically the character from of Paul Giamatti just trying to save this girl and get her back to her home, and then they find out that the character played by M. Night Shyamalan is like this great, amazing writer, and he's just gonna make everything right. Um, but yeah, no, this was a terrible movie. I'm gonna Honestly, I'm gonna put it in the bad category, even under The Happening, just because there's not even really anything fun about this movie, even. So yeah, it's definitely still not his worst movie, because we're gonna talk about that soon. But I'm putting that one in the bad category because there's really nothing redeemable about this movie. Okay, so the next movie we're going to talk about is actually another bad one. I didn't mean to put all the bad ones at the bottom, but it just kind of happened. So, Last Airbender. So, uh, I had never watched the original show to this very much, so I wasn't like a diehard fan of that show to begin with. But this is obviously a terrible movie. Everybody knows this is a terrible movie. I'm not sure really why M. Night Shyamalan wanted to direct this. I think it was maybe just something to keep his career moving at the time. Um, when they cast the person to play the main character, they only did it just because he looked pretty much exactly like the kid from the cartoon. So they didn't do it based off of his acting ability or anything like that. Um, there's just so many bad things about this movie. Bad storytelling. Um, I've only seen bits and pieces of it one time. I can't even bring myself to watch this whole movie. It's a very bad movie. There's absolutely nothing redeemable about this. It's not funny or anything like that. So that's gonna go right now at the lowest of the low tier, even under Lady in the Water. Okay, now we're finally getting to some of the good movies. So, next up, we're going to talk about Unbreakable. So, Unbreakable, I didn't see actually until after I had already seen Split in theaters and found out that the two movies were connected. I really like Unbreakable. I think it's really good. I think some people think it's a little bit better than I do. I think for some people, this is actually M. Night Shyamalan's best movie. Um, I don't necessarily think that, because it's not even my favorite of the trilogy, but Unbreakable is really good. I like the concept of like comic book heroes in real life, and of course with Samuel L. Jackson being the villain, giving a really good performance, and Bruce Willis as well. This is both for both of them kind of one of their earlier roles. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm not gonna put it in the best tier, but I did really enjoy this. There's not like a lot that I can say is really wrong with this movie. This is kind of just, my personal opinion. I would put it in the great category. I think it's a really good movie, and I enjoyed it, and it's a very good kind of starting movie for this trilogy that M. Night Shyamalan was trying to build. And it was a long time coming because it was many years between Unbreakable until Split came out. So, but yeah, I really like this one, and I'm comfortable putting it in the great category. Okay, so the next movie is Glass. Glass is the last movie in the Unbreakable trilogy. I think this is kind of the weakest of the trilogy, but I still really enjoyed it. I think all three of them are good movies. And this is the final conclusion to that story. It's where all three of the characters actually meet, because at the end of Split, you find you at the very, very end of the movie, you find out that Split is connected to the Unbreakable universe. And the character of James McAvoy's character, the Beast, doesn't meet up with these characters until this final movie. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the kind of aspect of the doctors kind of like talking to them and trying to prove that there's nothing superhuman about these three people. And the entire movie, it's these characters actually showing their superhuman abilities. And the final scene at the end of them all kind of battling it out, and then of course Glass being behind everything. I think it was a really good movie, but it's still definitely my least favorite of the trilogy. So I'm gonna still I'm still gonna put this in the actually, no, I'm gonna put this in the good category. So this is a good movie, but there's nothing super, super special about it. It's not as good as Unbreakable. I thought Unbreakable, especially for when it came out, was just really great. But Glass is gonna fall in the good category. I did still really enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but the other two movies are just a lot better. Okay, the next movie is After Earth. Now, this is another one of those movies where I'm not really sure why M. Night Shyamalan wanted to do this movie. Maybe just to stay a working director, but I feel like also Will Smith had a lot of influence in the direction this movie went, and he thought this was just going to be the next best, like, kind of sci-fi movie, but there was really nothing good about it, nothing redeeming about this movie, so this is gonna go in bad tier. But I'm gonna put it at least above The Last Airbender, because at least I'm gonna go ahead and say I think The Last Airbender is definitely his worst movie. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna say After Earth, yeah, really bad movie, nothing redeemable about that, so that's gonna stay down here in the bad tier. All right, so now we're going to talk about Knock at the Cabin. This is one of his more recent movies, so this is I think this is the only movie that's newer than this one is Trap. So this one I was very excited. It's another M. Night Shyamalan movie that I get to see. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy this one, and a lot of people have a lot of problems with this movie. But yet again, like I said, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. I really enjoyed this movie. I liked the premise of like the people coming and knocking at your door and telling you if you don't sacrifice one of the members in your family, then the world is going to end tomorrow, basically. I thought it was a really cool concept, and of course, you always got to have a twist ending kind of thing, something that M. Night Shyamalan is really known for. And I know a lot of people say that that it's very a lot of times his twist endings are very like you see it coming from a mile away, and maybe that's the case with this one, but I did still really enjoy it, and I think that this one still deserves a spot in the good tier, so it's nothing crazy to write home about, but it's a good movie and it's enjoyable. I am gonna put it, however, under Glass, so that's gonna be right here, just under Glass for now, and that's where I'm gonna set that one. I think if you haven't watched this movie because you heard bad things about it, definitely give it a shot for yourself, especially if you like M. Night Shyamalan movies. I think you're actually gonna enjoy this one pretty well. All right, now we're going to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Trap. So, Trap is. So, let's go ahead and get this out of the way first. So, Trap is basically a movie that M. Night Shyamalan made to promote his daughter's singing career. So, because the whole movie is basically this father takes his daughter to a concert. The concert, of course, is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's concert, and basically, like I said, the whole movie is just promoting her music. But behind all that, you have another, I would say, pretty good M. Night Shyamalan story to back that up. So the basic premise is it's a serial killer in a concert, and basically the idea is that he's trapped everyone in this arena. And of course, if you've seen the movie, you know the twist ending. So I said I was going to spoil some stuff. I'm not going to spoil that just because this is still a pretty new movie, so I don't want to spoil the twist in this one. But I did enjoy this movie a lot. I think it was fun for a lot of the movie, and I think the intense scenes were done really well. But yeah, if you haven't gotten around to checking this one out, definitely do. Keep in mind, like I said, it is kind of just uh, promoting the music in that one, but does have a good story kind of behind it to back it up. And because of that, I'm still going to put this in the good movies tier. Um, I think I enjoyed it still less than Knock at the Cabin, so I'm going to put it underneath that one. But yeah, definitely go check out Trap if you haven't seen it yet. And also, I guess let me know down in the comments if you were expecting the twist ending for this one. Okay, now we're going to talk about The Visit. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say yet again that the twist ending in this one was they could see it coming. They knew it was going to happen. I'm going to say I definitely did not see this coming. So this movie, I really really enjoyed this one. This is probably one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies. Just it's probably one of his scariest movies too. And not that any of his movies are really that scary, but it's definitely up there with the scariest and most suspenseful of his movies. I really enjoy The Visit. It's, you know, these two kids go and visit their grandparents, and just things slowly start to go kind of weirder and weirder. The grandparents start acting weirder throughout the movie, especially at night. And then, you know, there's the whole twist ending of basically um, that the grandparents that they went to stay with, these aren't actually their grandparents. They find out, and so that's kind of, I guess, spoiling that twist. But this movie's been out so long, I don't really mind doing that. I never saw that coming. I thought it was a really good movie, and this is actually the first movie I'm going to put into the best tier. I think this is one of M. Night Shyamalan's best movies, and I don't understand some of the hate that it gets, but I do also know a lot of people that really, really love this movie too, and also think it's one of his best movies. So I feel very comfortable putting this in the best tier. But yeah, this is one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies, and if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Um, but yeah, let me know if you expected the twist ending in this one, or if you were actually surprised by it. Okay, the next movie is The Village. Now, this is, I think, maybe the first or second M. Night Shyamalan movie I've ever seen. But it was between this and Signs. I can't remember which it was, but I remember being truly terrified by this movie when I was younger, and even going back to it now, I still get kind of an eerie vibe from it. This is definitely one of the first ones where you have that really good classic M. Night Shyamalan twist in it. And I think this one is really well done because throughout the movie, you know, you think it's like it's in a world like in a time period where there's no technology and things like that. And to basically keep everyone in the town doing what they want them to be doing, they create these creatures. And I remember the creatures being truly terrifying as a kid. But then the few characters that make it out, and they make it out and see the real world and realize that it's just modern day, and it's this community that basically closed themselves off from the outside world and from technology to kind of manipulate and control these people. I think it's a really really good story, really good concept, and it's definitely one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies. It doesn't quite get into the best category, but right now I'm going to put this in the great category, and I'm going to put this right above Unbreakable. I know that that may be a little weird for some people. Like I said, I know a lot of people like Unbreakable a lot more than I did, but I think The Village deserves a spot right above Unbreakable. All right, now we're on The Sixth Sense. So, The Sixth Sense is definitely another one of those movies that M. Night Shyamalan is very well known for. It has that whole famous quote,
I see dead people.
which is very good. I think this movie does a very good job of building suspense and the eeriness of the movie. This is also probably one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies, and it's definitely just a classic. I'm gonna have to put it actually though right underneath Unbreakable. I think Unbreakable is just a little bit better, but The Sixth Sense is a very good movie. And it's kind of hard to put it this low, but in the list. But there's just of those movies that M. Night Shyamalan did really well. There's a lot of ones that are just really good that I have to put above this one. But Sixth Sense earns its spot right underneath Unbreakable, and I do really enjoy this movie. Okay, the next movie we're going to talk about is Old. So Old is a movie that yet again, a lot of people really did not like this movie, and I kind of enjoyed it. It's definitely not one of his better movies, but I don't know. I'm just a huge M. Night Shyamalan fanboy, and I get people's complaints with this movie. The concept of the people going to this island, and it's this island that basically makes either it makes time move very fast and people age very quickly, and I they definitely could have done better with the concept than they did, and I see a lot of issues with this movie, but I did still enjoy it, and I think I'm still gonna put this one in the bad category, but it's gonna be in the bad but fun category because I did still enjoy this movie, and I had a good time watching it. So I'm gonna put it in the bad but fun category, right above The Happening, because I do think it's a better movie than The Happening. All right, now we're starting to get into the last two movies, and um, we're gonna talk about Split first. So Split is absolutely one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies ever, and I do understand certain people's critiques of this movie, especially with some of the subject matter of it and some of the things that, like near the ending of the movie. I really like Split. I think it was very good, with the building the suspense of the movie and just building up to the end reveal of the Beast character. Um, and I really like the concept of somebody having a split personality disorder, but it's so many different personalities. I think if I remember correctly, it's 23 split personalities inside this one person. And of course, at the very end, you have the big reveal of the beast that's going to protect uh, all the other personifications of this split personality, and then connecting that in with the Unbreakable story in kind of like a real world with superhumans and supervillains. I don't know. I just really like this movie. This is in my top three M. Night Shyamalan movies, and this is going to go up into the best category right above The Visit. Okay, now last but absolutely not least, we have Signs. Now, I told you one of these movies was actually my favorite movie of all time, and Signs is definitely that movie. I absolutely love Signs. I think it is, I think it's definitely the best directed and best written movie by M. Night Shyamalan. I know some people may disagree with that, but I absolutely love this movie. I love the family drama aspect of it, of like, you have Meryl coming to live with the family after them losing the mother of the family and just them dealing with the trauma of that situation and how it happened. And then you have the alien side of things that I feel like is just very interesting and intriguing throughout the entire movie. And just the mystery they build up in this movie, the suspense. There's so many good and genuinely terrifying scenes in this movie. Just ones I can name off that I absolutely love is the scene in the cornfield when Mel Gibson's character is out there searching by himself and he drops the flashlight and then it turns back on and he sees the alien's leg and he starts running. That scene has just always been terrifying to me. And then you have the scene where Uncle Merrill is down in the basement or in the closet, I guess, and he's watching the news on TV, and it's like one of the first times we get a really good look at the aliens, and he sees it on the TV, and just his reaction is so genuine and terrifying. This is my favorite movie of all time. I absolutely love it, and I don't actually think there's really that many issues with it. There's literally one thing I would change to make this an absolutely perfect movie is when the director is in the movie and he says that they don't like water. I think it would have been a lot more meaningful if it kind of just happened at the end when Meryl is swinging and then the water splashes on him and then you see that the water kind of burns them and poisons them or whatever, and I think that that could have been a bigger reveal near the end. But I absolutely love Signs, and I'm going to put that at the absolute highest tier as my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie of all time and just my overall favorite movie of all time. Okay, that is every M. Night Shyamalan movie ranked from best to the worst of the worst. And if you let me know what your ranking is below and just what some of your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies are. And until next time, always remember that physical media is forever.